Yo, you saw it. I saw it. Let's talk about it. The Nintendo Switch 2 console coming out June 5th, 2025, with resolutions possible up to 4K 120 FPS. Insane, honestly, to me. I've never seen Nintendo cater to the tech-minded market before. The most they've given their console in terms of like a fidelity flex is it's HD now, but that's it. Never heard them say a specific resolution. If I'm wrong, correct me. Never heard them mention an FPS ever. And if you own a Nintendo Switch, you can see why they wouldn't mention an FPS ever. But hearing with specific titles that we're going to be getting 4K 120 FPS, not to get ahead of myself, but they even showed that there's going to be performance modes and resolution modes in some games, which, wow, wow. If you notice, they're using the dock as a means of boosting the power that we have on the main console. Our current dock for our Switch 1 doesn't have any upscaling in the dock itself. The dock is simply a vehicle to get it from the console to the TV with some added ports and some Ethernet. They showed it in the Direct. This dock has a fan inside. This dock actually boosts the performance of the console itself, providing it extra cooling and allowing for 4K output, because the console itself on the screen only shows a 1080p visual, which also a 1080p handheld that can play up to 120 FPS in performance modes for games. Oh my God. Like, oh my God. We also noticed that the console itself has a little microphone on the top. I like to see that, especially with the DualSense going that route with having the microphone in the controller. And if you have a PlayStation 5 or if you've heard anything about the quality of the microphone in the DualSense controller, genuinely isn't bad. So I honestly don't expect the one inside of the Switch 2 to be bad at all, especially with its capability. It looks like something akin to RTX Voice, which is able to, using, I don't know if it uses AI technology or if it uses just whatever computer program that they have installed to dampen the non-human sounds or background noise and only let human voices come through, which sounds amazing. Another shocker, 256 gigabytes. I understand if you own a modern day console, that is nothing. Most consoles ship with a minimum of a terabyte, but Nintendo games typically run a lot smaller. That does make me wonder how large these up-resed Nintendo games will be, how large the Nintendo Switch 2 native games will be. However, Nintendo typically prioritizes optimization in terms of their game sizes. So honestly, I'm not too concerned, especially for them advertising it as 4 times bigger than the Nintendo Switch in terms of space. I imagine that'll be a substantial bump, even in proportion with how big the games are. That being said, it gives me a little bit of pause that they advertised their SD cards in the announcement of the console. Maybe that's just so we understand that our old SD cards won't work anymore because we need faster rated memory to run Switch 2 games, because load times will be faster because of the upgraded hardware. Makes sense. However, I do see that as a little bit of a warning flag, letting us know, hey, I know it's a lot more memory, but Switch 2 games are still going to be pretty large, so don't hold your breath. You're going to need that extra memory, which I understand that. Not at launch, but at least a couple months after, I'll probably invest in an SD card. Which again, release date, June 5th, really soon. Really soon. I hope you've been racking up them McDonald's checks. I hope you're slinging them newspapers, sell that lemonade. If you don't got a little jobby job, get it now. Start saving, you know? Tell your landlord you'll get them later. Because, oh my God. Mind you, $450 as a base price isn't too bad. I don't want to get into the price conversation yet. I'm organized. I didn't write a script for this because, like, why would I? But I have talking points in order and I kind of want to hit those as I hit them. But yeah, $450 base price for the console, not terrible. Speculation was wrapped around between $400 and $500. $450 is not enough for me to clench my wallet, but it's a pretty penny. Also, if you go on their website, just to provide a little bit of extra information, you'll see for the Joy-Con 2 and the Pro Controller 2, right? They do have HD Rumble 2. It looks like they're kind of two-ifying these features, but I'm glad to see HD Rumble back. I imagine that doesn't mean they're going to be veering towards maybe haptics in the triggers, especially for the Pro Controller. I don't know if the base console Joy-Cons are gonna have those, but haptics in the triggers seems really cool to me. Also, I'm so glad we were right about the mouse functionality. Not to leave alone the haptics conversation so quickly. I feel like a lot of us are pretty aware of that feature in other consoles or Pro versions of controllers, where you do get direct feedback, not only in the controller for rumble, but in trigger intensity based on pull for whatever you're doing. But mouse functionality, they even showed it as an example in Metroid Prime 4. My dream layout, to be able to control a character via button combinations on one hand and the other using my mouse. So long as that feels ergonomic, it's fine. Those of you who haven't seen ergonomic mice before might be given some level of worry because it's not shaped like a mouse that you've seen before, but there's plenty of vertical mouse designs that actually work just fine as, you know, as functional mice, and I think this will be good too. Especially with the bigger size of the Joy-Con, the bigger size of the triggers, and the ZL buttons, I feel like we're headed to a good place. Which, to touch on, the larger size and the upgraded features of the Joy-Con look fantastic. The little nipple buttons are now a lot bigger. Sorry to call them that. It's the first thing that came to mind, and I apologize. The solo Joy-Con playstyle still is something that I'll only make someone do if I hate them, but maybe they won't be that mad at me when I hand them a singular Joy-Con as I use my Pro Controller to play Mario Party with. I also like to mention that they specifically noted that their storage is faster, not just larger. I imagine there's a faster SSD in there, which is why they're able to do things technically like they're able to do in certain games that I'll mention in the future. But man, it looks, it's looking good. I know the price point is a little high, but at least the console looks very competent. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. I'm happy to see some accessories at launch, some pretty key ones like the webcam that they included with it, which isn't priced too bad at 50 bucks if you look on the website. I also saw some carrying cases, some singular Joy-Con wheels that look pretty nice. No problems there, nothing too much to say. The implementation of the camera in games looks nice. Doesn't look like a must-have, something that I might pick up for fun just to show off on the channel, but nothing that I'm, you know, chomping at the bit for. That being said, when I whoop someone in domination, I'd love to see their face. So, you know, at your leisure. Which adds on to the functionality of the C button. We finally know what it is. Comms, calls, communication, whatever you want to call it. You can make little Discord calls. I'm glad that they were honest, showing off that 17 FPS footage in your little Nintendo Switch Discord calls, but at least you have in-console parties. Mind you, will a lot of people still use Discord? Sure, more than likely, but maybe it's not for us. Kids, their friends that they have on the console, they all want to group up, talk on their Switch. Now they can, and that also means headsets. We're gonna actually be able to use gaming headsets on the Nintendo Switch. And it looks like with Pro Controllers specifically, they come with aux jacks. So that's always nice, even though I'm sure it'll support Bluetooth and we'll be able to put a little dongle in there, make headsets work that way. But honestly, I'm happy to see the feature. Something that I might even use depending on the game. If I don't feel like running Discord on my phone or on the side, and I wanna just handheld, walk into a party, put a headset on, wireless headset, some Astros or something, and hop into a party with friends. Glad to see the feature. I don't think there's a bad thing about it. Obviously, the FPS for Discord call, game share is way worse than what it could be on any other platform. If you were to, you know, share on Discord, or PlayStation, I believe, does a game space where you can share your gameplay actively in the call, and it looks a lot better, but honestly, I'm fine with it. I don't need that part of the game to look amazing. I need the game to look amazing that I'm playing actively. Which, speaking of games, oh my God. You got video games. This ain't no Xbox One S presentation. No Netflix mention. You know? God, we got games. Mario Kart World. We'll talk about how much it costs later. But most importantly, oh my God, the game was amazing. Wow. I've been thoroughly blown away. Mario Kart isn't even in my like top 5 franchises of all time. I love Mario Kart. I love playing Mario Kart. I love streaming it with my community. I love playing it with friends. Mario Kart's an extremely fun time. I love those games. But I was blown aback by this one. Leading up to this presentation, I've been thinking about what's our new gimmick. Every Mario Kart, it's a gimmick. Most recently, the gimmick was pretty subtle, but pretty impactful in Zero Gravity. Being able to get boosts off bumping into people, allowing for some more dynamic stage design, being able to loop-de-loop upside down and have it make sense because now you're in zero Gs. Very cool stuff. But I wondered, where do you go from here? What gimmick do you choose? The answer? You don't. You just up the ante on the game's mechanics and make the game more interesting and fun through that. I saw rail grinding, wall jumping. What? In my Mario game? Open world traversal, photo modes, seamless transitions from Grand Prix stage to Grand Prix stage, a world map that works in cohesion with itself, a battle royale mode with 24 racers on the track. Yeah, they're delivering. I understand that the game's $80, 50 if you can do it in a bundle. But you know, I understand how expensive it is. But wow, they showed up. I love looking at a game that clearly has love in it that people can be proud of. And man, the character designs are beautiful. They included every character they could think of, characters that I don't even remember the official names for. I saw someone say Pengu the Penguin. Is that his name? I don't know. Might be. I saw Dry Fish. I saw the Dolphin from a Mario game with a dolphin in it, I think. Mario NPCs that I don't, and again, characters that I do not know the first names of are now active racers. If you're a big Goomba fan, they got you covered. Paratroopa, probably. Truly, gameplay that blew my mind. Understandable why they need that fast storage, by the way. Being able to seamlessly transfer from course to course, meaning a low-res version of other complete Mario courses are being loaded in while you're on your current course. That has to be ready for you to quickly take that loading zone, transition to the next one. That's awesome. That's awesome. Also, we took the best parts from Tour. I never played Mario Kart Tour. Didn't want to. Don't like gacha games. Didn't want a gacha for my characters. I also wanted real racing mechanics. Wasn't gonna play that shit, dog. But the best part about Tour were the swaggy costumes and the good-looking carts. It looks like we have that. They had Boo drip down, Wario drip down, Mario drip down, Peach. Ah! Everyone looks so good. Oh, Luigi in his little farmer's outfit. They added a cow. I know that's not an outfit, but the memory just assaulted my brain. We have a cow now. They got Moo Moo Meadows, the character. It's sick. The amount of flair, love, and charm in this game looks phenomenal, and I really can't wait. Launch title, June 5th. Launch title, pre-orders go up April 9th. Which, just to touch on how pre-orders are being handled beautifully. By the way, the anti-scalper methods that are taking place are amazing. It looks like through most retailers, you'll be able to pre-order day 1 on April 9th, which is a window that unfortunately looks like I'm gonna miss because I don't get paid till later, but I digress. April 9th isn't a bad time for it. I'm gonna wait a little longer. But Nintendo also allows you to send in invitations. So long as you're sharing your game data with Nintendo, have a minimum of 50 hours of playtime. I believe 1 to 2 years of the NSO. I don't think all things are required to get an invitation, but the more of those things you have racked up, the playtime, the NSO, the ownership of a certain amount of games on Switch 1, the higher priority you get on a list of people that'll buy the console. Because the higher you are in that list, the less likely that you're some shitty reseller and you actually want the console for yourself. I didn't say reseller, I said reseller. I'm sorry. So things look good on that end. I don't need 20,000 Switches to go into a fire pit because somebody wanted to buy 20,000 Switches to flip and they couldn't flip them because everyone got them retail. I hate resellers. I want you to find your local reseller and spit on their shoes. That's a bad guy. Don't trust him. You can take a tour of the Nintendo Switch 2 in a 3D space, walking around the console like it's Astrobot. That's the whole game. It costs some money. Next question. Thankfully, it looks like we're getting enhanced ports of Nintendo Switch 1 games. Primarily the following. I'm going to read a list, so like, don't look at me, look at the B-roll. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, Mario Party Jamboree, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Pokemon Legends ZA. Obviously, two of those games that I mentioned. Not out yet, but they seem to just be getting performance bumps if you own a Nintendo Switch 2 versus a 1 where they're also coming out. Thankfully, it looks like these ports, at least the ones that are just basic upgrades in terms of fidelity, are going to be available for free, quotations, if you have an SO. I don't know if the expansion pass gives you more access or less access or no access at all compared to what tier that you have, but I do know that ownership of NSO does waive the cost of those Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades from the Switch 1, which hallelujah, because it looks like price-wise, without NSO, an upgrade of pure fidelity and minor content additions is $10, but something more substantial like Mario Party Jamboree's upgrade, which adds minigames, mouse minigames, they look amazing, microphone minigames, and even camera-based minigames, they look really cool. That's $20. Hopefully NSO waives those costs, because I believe if I'm going to be a consistent subscriber, I should get something back. They did it on the Switch 1 with certain DLCs for their first parties, and I hope we get it on the Switch 2. That would be awesome. Speaking of which, Metroid Prime 4 still looks amazing. I didn't know if they were showing performance mode or fidelity mode. Fidelity being in 4K 60, by the way, and performance being in 1080, 120 hertz. Amazing, amazing values on those. If their first-party games consistently run that way, oh my God. I got to see the frames in Breath of the Wild, and not just, I'm not gonna mention those things here. But yeah, frames in my Tears of the Kingdom, frames in my Korok Forest, Woods, whatever. GPS for Korok Seeds, my favorite. I've played those games half to death, done many a challenge run, speed run, whatever you want to call it. Not once have I ever hunted a Korok Seed. Not doing it. Maybe I will now. Okay, I probably won't, but I'm more motivated with a little phone app that just tells me GPS tracker where to go from my current position. I think that's awesome. Link, go left, you know? Another banger, which by the way, oh my God, if this Direct wasn't for you, do you play Nintendo games? I'm sorry. GameCube NSO. Something that we speculated would get on the Switch 1. Honestly, didn't think it would happen. Fine to see it here, especially along with our current NSO expansion pass available offerings, along with a Nintendo Switch Online member exclusive purchase of a Nintendo GameCube controller. I've never gotten the NSO exclusive controllers. This one, I'm front of the line, front and center. I need that desperately. Give me that controller. That's going to feel amazing. It'll be the best wireless version of a GameCube controller you can buy because it's actually from the first party. I need that bad, like bad. There are a lot of amazing games shown for the Nintendo GameCube NSO, but here are the highlights. Wind Waker. HD kind of. They're not gonna give it the Swift sale, but it does have upgraded visuals. So like, that's cool. If they could like do a thing where it just kind of has the Swift sale, that would be, oh my God. But you know, whatever. It's still nice that it's there. Soul Calibur 2, not really a fighting game guy, but Soul Calibur 2 has Link in it. So I have a vested interest to play that game. The big hitters for me, Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Applause! Amazing. It looked so good. Which, by the way, I kind of missed this, so I'm going to backtrack for a moment. I don't want to give anyone whiplash. This is kind of an open discussion. I put out the talking points to make sure this didn't happen. Still happened, but a lot less. the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Pokemon Legends ZA genuinely looked phenomenal. Those Switch 1 trailers, you could tell they were on a Switch 1. Pretty choppy, still a little muddy. It was giving Switch 1 capabilities in terms of their Pokemon games. Those Switch 2 ports, oh my God, smooth. I saw Altaria, every little wing flap, I saw them all. I don't know, mind you, I'm not a graphics head, but I've never seen a mainline Pokemon game run well since the handheld days. Well, pure handheld days, since the Switch is technically, you know, it's exciting. Mind you, I've always found the Pokemon games fun. I've played the Paldean games. I've played Sword and Shield. They're fun games with fantastic narratives and really fun mechanics. I enjoy a Pokemon game, but now they get to look nice too. The unstoppable franchise. To go over some things that I'm not necessarily hyper excited about, but just to mention them because they were there. And, you know, quick thought about them. Drag X Drive looks like a lot of fun. Depending on price, is dependent on whether I'll get it or not, but it looks like a lot of fun. I like the hand mechanics. The fact that I can spin the little ball on my finger, that was really cute. I liked that. So it's a potential grab. Hades 2, still gonna play Hades 1, but glad to see Hades 2 on the console. Bravely Default, I love the Bravely Default on my 3DS. So genuinely, might be a quick purchase. Might be a quick purchase for me. Deltarune, all 4 chapters. I've only played Undertale. This is my chance. This is my calling. This is my time to finally try these games. Now, the big ones. There's 4 games on here. I'll start with the non-Nintendo one just so we can stay within Nintendo conversation for the rest of this video. But we got Bloodborne 2. We got Bloodborne 2. And before I don't mention it, yes, y'all got Silksong, congratulations. We can cut the clown memes now. You're getting it this year. When? You know, shrug emoji, but you're getting it. You're getting your game. I never played Hollow Knight. Convince me in the comments, I suppose. But we're getting Bloodborne 2. It's called The Dusk Bloods, but we're getting Bloodborne 2. A Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. Unfortunate for those of you who aren't planning on getting one of these, but for those of us who are, me, amazing. Looks vampire in theme, looks very Bloodborne in terms of its art direction. The gun abilities, it looks amazing. I didn't really hear too much on details of what kind of game it will be. I saw murmurs of it being very multiplayer focused. Good for them. But man, we're getting not Bloodborne, but Bloodborne. And that's really awesome to me because I have like 600 hours in Bloodborne. I love that game so much. I'll talk about these last 3 in orders of how excited I am from them, from least to most, but I'm excited about all these. So don't get it twisted. I enjoy all these games. Kirby Air Riders. Oh, I didn't have a strong attachment to Kirby Air Ride back when I was a kid. I played the game, I owned the game, I liked the game a lot. I'm very much more Mario Kart built in terms of which racing games that I'm excited for. But Kirby Air Riders looks phenomenal. It looks amazing from what I've seen. Mind you, it's a little teaser, but Sakurai doesn't make bad games. Some of you may disagree, so that's fine. But Sakurai doesn't make bad games. I think that Kirby game is going to be phenomenal. Oh, it looks so good. And I really hope that it is a unique take on the racing genre, because it's going to have to be, because Mario Kart's coming on that system. Mind you, this will be well after launch, so I feel like there's no worry. I think we're going to have time and room in our hearts to play Kirby Air Riders, because Mario Kart will have already came and not went. Mario Kart never goes. But it'll have already come and we've already had the experience. I'm sure we'll be excited to play it eventually. Oh, and before I forget, a little honorable mention, just because I don't play these games, but I know a lot of y'all do. I know you're excited. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4, holy shit. And SpongeBob being added to it was a was a wrench in my gear that I wasn't expecting. But you know what? Good for y'all. High fives all around. Genuine. Okay, now number 2. Donkey Kong Bonanza. W minor game. That game looks fantastic. Oh my God. A 3D Donkey Kong since DK64, a game that I have yet to play. I know, sue me. I really want to play the PC port because I refuse to play it vanilla. I'm not going to go back to home base to change my Kongs out. You can't make me. But either way, yo, That game looks phenomenal. I love DK's new design. I understand that letting go of the rare design hurts a little bit. I understand, but he's cute. He's very expressive. I love the younger childlike whimsy he has, as opposed to the more aggressive design he used to sport, where he really looked like angry. I'm strong, I'm DK. Now he looks like big, lovable lug coated. And honestly, I'm with that. I think he looks fantastic. He looks a lot more like his original design. I know some of you may think it's a reference to the movie, but the movie Donkey Kong also was meant to look more like his original design. So it does not come from that. The source material is the source from way back when, the old illustrations that we used to get of DK, or DK Jr., or whatever you want to call him. But no, the traversal up mountains, his movement, the combat, the destructible environments, he's really giving Ape Out, Wreck-It vibes to me. I'm loving it. That looks phenomenal. Easy day one purchase. I don't know if they mentioned if it's going to be a launch window game, but whenever it does come out, I'm very much there. I'm very excited. Also, because I have the trailers playing next to me, so I want to mention the second honorable mention before I mention what I'm arguably the second most excited for in the entire direct, if not the first. 007. Again, not really a GoldenEye guy, but I can't not bring it up at least. You know, good for y'all. GoldenEye fans, you're having a great day. Now, what I've wanted to see the most, and probably what I'm the most excited for, besides Mario Kart, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. This time, unlike Age of Calamity, a canon prequel to the Tears of the Kingdom game that goes over Zelda's time in ancient Hyrule. Playable Rauru in that time period. The other Guardians more than likely playable as well. Oh my God, and it'll run well, unlike Age of Calamity. So that sounds nice too. It looks amazing. It'll be an addition to a game that's already, while from a lore-rich franchise, Tears of the Kingdom needed a lot more context. Tears of the Kingdom needed a lot more storytelling in it to really get me immersed in that game versus how Breath of the Wild got me involved. That's another conversation for another day. Maybe I'll make it its own video. Let me know if you want that. But seeing an extension of the universe be canon this time, because Age of Calamity was not canon. Age of Calamity was a what-if story. This is not a what-if story. This is what happened. And knowing that alone is incredibly exciting. I cannot wait for that release. It looks so incredible. I have obviously a leaning for Zelda games. I love me a good Zelda, but just getting more context to Tears of the Kingdom, something that I've been begging for a long time. I was really devastated when they said there was no DLC, and the fact that it's coming in winter. There's Peak on the menu, and I can't wait to play it. It looks so good. And honestly, I really want to hear from y'all before I get to my final point. Let me know in the comments. What were your favorite things? How did you feel? What did you enjoy from the Direct? What did you hate? And the biggest thing to talk about today, because Nintendo did very much intentionally not include this information in the Direct, prices. Prices are looking... I've heard a lot of it being the effect of tariffs on the video game industry in general. I've seen that the Japanese console is priced significantly lower, which is a little unfortunate to see. It's a lot. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's a lot to pay. $450 for that base console isn't super bad, but if you don't get that bundle, Mario Kart is $80. Donkey Kong is more reasonably priced at $70, as is most AAA studio games are nowadays. The controllers seem to all be up priced by about $10 each. I believe Nintendo Switch 1 Joy-Cons were $80, now they're $90. Pro Cons were $70, now they're $80. The camera is $50. It looks like one of the biggest grievances, which is kind of, we were hoping it would go the other way, but apparently it's not. The cartridges, the physical versions of games, seem to also be more expensive. Specifically, digitally, Mario Kart World is $80. Physically, it's $90. With tax, that starts to real close to $100. And depending on the size of games, because I've seen people freak out about this game key that they're selling you in a physical, like it's not a real cartridge. It's a game key that you put inside of the Switch, then it downloads the game from that. I feel like they're only going to do that with games that exceed the size of what a Switch 2 cartridge can hold. But at the same time, who knows? And at the same time, God, those prices are steep, man. They're really, I wouldn't say they're blatantly trying to kill physical media, but damn, that's a big slope to go down. Thankfully, it doesn't kill my excitement. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter already, and it hasn't even been that long since the Direct, saying that this is going to be a failed launch because it costs too much. I'm going to be real. No, it's not. I don't think this is too far outside of the price scope for Nintendo fans to still want this console. It's been explained well enough. We already have a very strong base from the Switch. I feel like it's going to sell just fine. If you weren't going to pay this much for it, you weren't going to pay whatever the lower price would have been, unless it was borderline cheap or vastly inexpensive. However, I do agree that they're starting to charge pretty pennies for a lot of these things. I don't know how many more $80 games we're getting, but $80 is a lot for a singular video game with no other add-ons. That being said, if these games are looking as good as Mario Kart World, it's not going to stop me from buying them. Because man, Mario Kart World looks really good. I'm not saying, yeah, give me my money, $80, but if I had to, yeah, I'm there. I just wonder if the price of the console will end up making a significant impact in who buys this thing. I know that our diehard Nintendo fans will end up purchasing the console. I wonder if anyone who was on the fence sees this price point and goes, no, and decides not to. For those of you who are curious, by the way, I believe GameStop is taking trade-ins of $175 for Switch OLEDs and $125 for version 1 or version 2 base model Switches. So that's nice. If you want to do a little trade-in, I got a Switch base model sitting around somewhere that I don't necessarily need. Maybe I'll do that. I imagine that's for in-store credit, but that's either here nor there. Overall, I'm leaving this Direct hyper satisfied. Me, as someone who's already invested in the company, who's already invested in Nintendo IP, I know I'm getting this thing. But are you? I might put a poll up on my community poll section, or if you want to let me know in the comments, do you plan on getting a Switch 2? Based on what you've seen today? We have a Mario Kart Direct coming on April 17th. There's going to be a video for that as well. Maybe we'll revisit the poll once that's out. But I'd love to know if you plan on getting a Switch 2. And if you do, how would you rate the Direct we saw today? Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you soon. If you watched up to this point in the video, you probably want to subscribe and like the video. Why not? Right? Right. Either way, I won't bother you with that too much. I'll take it easy. Have an amazing rest of your night. Be good to each other. Deuces. All I know is Grandma better watch her back walking out of those GameStops. I'm ready.